In the heart of East Africa, at the foothills of Mount Kenya, there is a land waiting to be discovered, a world ready to be explored, a dream willing to be enjoyed. Welcome to Laikipia, Kenya's high country. So, let the adventure begin.
Indeed, what a wonderful adventure. It's a retreat that has 350 employees on it, golf courses, racetracks, etc. So who are they bringing there? Well, they're bringing congressmen. In fact, on a recent trip in August of 2012, 3 Republican lawmakers were there to talk about conservation and find out more about it. Now, most of those Republican lawmakers vote against conservation all of the time. Well, nonetheless, the International Conservation Caucus Foundation brought them there. Now, we're going to get back to them in a second. But to get a sense of why congressmen and senators are so cozy with groups like this who are funded by multinational corporations, let's take a look at the numbers from the last election. Did you know that the average winning House seat cost $1,689,580 to win? So if you got $1.7 million, you might be a congressman. If you can't raise that much money, sad day for you. How about the Senate? Oh, much higher. Nearly $10.5 million in order to win a Senate seat. Now, how are you going to raise that kind of money? Well, you're going to go to multinational corporations, even if they pollute the environment, as they pretend to be green. Now, Daniel Newman, president of MapLight, said something that I think that was incredibly right here. He says, the result is that members of Congress are fearful about voting against corporate interests because there's so much money at stake. That is absolutely right. Now, that brings us back to our so-called conservation group. They have lovely videos like this on their website.
One of the ICCF's initiatives has been the formation of the Conservation Council, which unites NGOs, corporations, and government leaders dedicated to natural resource sustainability. What makes this synergy unique is that every participating NGO and corporation has the opportunity to suggest specific causes or courses of action.
Well, that sounds lovely. They're all in the conservation business, and they're having synergies with the people that they're putting together. So who are they putting together with the politicians? Well, Mother Jones investigated and found out the foundation's Conservation Council includes Exxon Mobil and 6 other Fortune 500 companies, as well as trade groups like the American Petroleum Institute and the Malaysian Palm Oil Board that represents environmentally destructive industries. Uh-oh. I think we're on to something here. All right, let's bring in Mother Jones reporter Corbin Heyer, who wrote about this. Corbin, thank you so much for joining us here. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Corbin, first let's talk about who's part of this council as far as the politicians are concerned. It's not just Republicans, right? It's across the board.
That's correct. It's one of the largest bipartisan caucuses in Congress.
Now, you would think that if it's about conservation, that most of the people in the caucus would vote in environmentally conscious ways. Do they?
No. Short answer, no. We have a companion post to my piece, which highlights a recent bill that was focused on coal, and the voting record of the caucus was only slightly better than the rest of Congress. We've also, in reporting the piece, uncovered instances where the members of the Congress were actively working against the supposed aims of the Conservation Foundation, opposing bills that would block poaching, which is a stated goal of the foundation.
Yeah, curious. In fact, I want to show the audience a chart here. This is D11, guys. And it shows you how the voting record of these guys that are as part of, the politicians that are part of this group. For example, Senator John McCain, you see on the left there, the 0 to 20, 100 gives you a great environmental record. So you see that on the right-hand side, some members of the caucus are actually people who are voting great on environmental issues. But the larger numbers on the left-hand side, 0 to 20, meaning they're absolute failures. Senator John McCain is part of this. He's got a 0 rating. Senator Inhofe's staffers have gone on 3 different trips from this group. Senator Inhofe is the leading climate denier in the group, in all of Congress. And the list goes on and on. Now, Corbin, what's the scam being played here? You know, why do these politicians participate in it? And most importantly, why do the environmental groups that are actually in part of this organization participate in it? Because you got people like the World Wildlife Fund or organizations like that who are very legitimate groups who are also participating in this. What in the world is going on there?
Well, that was what initially attracted me to the story, was finding out why each group what each group got from it. And with the congressmen, as you were pointing out earlier, there's opportunities to raise money from these corporations. There's also an opportunity for James Inhofe to look green without ever having to, oppose a coal plant in this country. He can, pose with cheetahs in Africa. For the businesses, they get the opportunity. ExxonMobil gets the opportunity to hang out with the Nature Conservancy and show that it's not really as bad as it may seem. And with environmental groups, and there are four that are most prominently involved here. And we have the Nature Conservancy, Conservation International, the Wildlife Conservation Society, and the World Wildlife Fund. And these are massive, massive conservation groups. The Nature Conservancy's budget for the most recent year that full figures were available was close to $1 billion. So that sort of money is not just coming from small donors. So it's as important for these conservation groups to have time with members of Congress and with corporations so that they can then get grants to fund conservation abroad.
Right. See, that's the really scary part. So the groups that you think you can trust are also getting money through this, this operation here, and that's scary. And by the way, the board of the group or the director of the group said, global warming, we're agnostic on it. So you get a sense of where they stand. But if you want to get a full sense, check out Corbin's article on Mother Jones. Really interesting piece. Corbin, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.